Good morning. This is Jason Dean coming live at you again for another Film Fanatic show. It's about 11:24. So this is a little bit of a different show. This is a specialty show. I like to always mix things up, here at Film Fanatic headquarters. Again, the focus is always on movies and all of those great things. And I love, the last couple of months, especially this month, there's been a ton of people commenting on the videos, and I've been connecting with lots of super cool people online and some friends that I know in person, and just sharing our mutual love and respect for films and all of those things. So it's, again, whenever I get those kinds of interactions and feedback from people, that just kind of inspires me more to do this crazy thing. And movies are such an important thing for me, and a way of life for me, and the biggest source of inspiration for me, personally and artistically, if you want to call it that. So I want to make a video today about that, and also also around the just how this channel has grown, the last few years. And so, I'm really excited and proud to announce that, as of this morning, my Film Fanatic page, my YouTube channel, has reached 502 followers. So I have a deep sense of gratitude and love for everyone who supports this crazy thing that I do. It kind of means the world to me, and it's something I enjoy. I look forward to it every day. If I don't do it, I notice it. It kind of bothers me. So I love that people have been, coming from a genuine place and supporting this channel, and my crazy love of film, and just how much it, the whole world of movies just, continually inspire me. And so it's a wonderful thing to be able to have this platform for what it is, and to be able to express myself, and to share all kinds of different opinions, and all. And the main thing for me really has always been to maybe talk about a movie that is super obscure or super underground, that I just don't hear people talking about, and I feel like it needs to get a little bit of light, shined on it. And maybe there's a few folks out there that will be like, "Oh, that sounds kind of up my alley. I will check that out." And to me, that's like the best part of this channel. That's really the main focus of this channel. And there's a lot of things about doing this that many facets of it that I love, but that's really the main focus of it. I started, going back to the history of, for what it's worth, I started the my Facebook Film Fanatic page about, close to 7 or 8 years ago, which is crazy. I remember, again, I always loved film. I grew up watching all kinds of movies, mainly horror films. Was a child of VHS era, and then when the DVD craze hit, that was a big, huge thing for me. And it wasn't until like I was in my 20s, and when DVDs were the main thing, that was when I started collecting movies. And so it kind of evolved from there, to many different things. But it started around that point, and I remember about, 8 years ago or so, and it became like after college and in college, I really, really, really had some friendships and some relationships of people that I met that were really key in me becoming a film fanatic. And the main two sources, you know, of that is Charles Hendrick, who is an old friend of mine. He's been living in New Orleans for quite a few years. He's a DJ. We had experiences in the past when he used to live in Maine of where we played in a bunch of different musical groups. Charlie's always been one of the most talented people I know, but he had a huge brain for film, and he was a total cinephile. I mean, he had such an amazing collection, and we spent countless hours watching film, watching movies. He turned me on to so many movies, and he was one of the key figures in my life for developing my interest in films to where I am today. And another friend who I have to give a big shout out to is my great buddy Sean Russell, who I met when I was at college, Berkeley College of Music. I met him there, and we became really, really close. And he also, we had a lot of the same interests. He was into film, but he was at that time a little bit more knowledgeable, like Charlie. And it just, talking with him and him sharing his thoughts and, all kinds of movie recommendations, us going to the movies. We used to see movies all the time. Like Charlie, he was a key figure in my kind of development as far as being a film, a film buff, a film fanatic. And I really think without, those two guys, and then I can't forget also my mom, because she really was how I got into film. She, ever since I was a kid, she was always into movies. She was really into lots of Alfred Hitchcock films, and that's kind of where it started. But she was always into horror films, slasher movies, and things like that. So when I was a little kid, all my fondest memories of my childhood is watching the Friday 13th series with her. And even her taking me to the movies to see horror films, mainly like films like Aliens and Return of the Jedi and all of those things where, it was really where it started for me. So at the end of the day, none of this, for what it's worth, none of this craziness, and especially this channel would have been possible if it wasn't for my mom's, input and her exposure, of films to me, bringing me into that world at a really young age. And also my friend Sean Russell and my friend Charles Hendrick. Those guys, I could not do any of this stuff without them because they were really, really, key figures. They were the key figures in this whole development. So I have to give a big shout out to all three of those people. So, and again, like I started this page, I started my first kind of dive into, social media as far as doing a movie thing. I've had a Facebook account for quite a few years, like most people. But I remember it was like 7 or 8 years ago, I was talking to a little group of friends, and they knew my love of movies, and we would talk about movies a lot and those kinds of things. And I remember it just kind of came up where I had this idea, and I threw out this idea to them to see what they would think. And I was like, you know what, maybe someday I'll start like a movie page, a Facebook page, and I'll just dedicate it to my love of movies, talk about movies, do, reviews and all those kinds of things. And they were like, yes, you should do it. You should totally do it. And so within that year, I started a Film Fanatic Facebook page, which still exists. And that was really kind of where it started for me. And I did that page. I ran that page for probably about 4 or 5 years, where it was mainly just, kind of what I do now, where I just would talk about movies and I do trailer reviews, movies that I owned in my collection and movies I was looking forward to and all of those various things. So it was always, that kind of thing. And then eventually I wanted to kind of pursue it further with maybe doing interview segments, with people who have the same interests that I do with film, but then also moving it into a place of talking with people who are actually in the industry, and having some directors, some actors, and all those kinds of things. And I eventually kind of did that, and I started, after about 5 years of having the Film Fanatic Facebook page, I started doing these live reviews, and then I started doing these live interviews. And that's kind of where things really shifted for me, as far as like, oh wow, like depending on what you want to do, like you can kind of, you're kind of, there's a kind of an unlimited amount of things that you can do around this, and it suddenly opened up to where this whole new world. So I was like, this is really cool. This is really great. This is kind of a more genuine way of expressing myself when it comes to movies. And I did those videos, Facebook Live videos, which are still all on my Facebook page. I did that for a few years, and it was really, really great. And then, I kind of wanted to move into, maybe expanding it and, taking a little bit more of a risk, pursuing, more ideas around interview segments and all those things. And I had a real reluctance to do that at one point, but then I just kind of threw myself out there, and I started this channel, the YouTube channel, the Film Fanatic YouTube channel, which has been around for almost 3 years now. And I started, the first year I wasn't very active. I had a couple of little clips and some music things. And I started to, I used it a lot on my on my Facebook page, where I was like using it also to promote my band Quantum, which I talk a lot about, because that for me it's my weird little electronic band, and that is, that is so tremendously inspired by film. So it was, kind of, a branch, or, under the same tree. It all was connected to me. So I would use, that format for that. And then I moved, obviously, into the YouTube world. The first year wasn't so active. And then about 2 years ago or so, I dove fully into it. And I still, still promote lots of music things on the page. And I do, now I moved it to where I'm just doing videos for the most part. And I've kind of transitioned. I still have those pages. I also had started an Instagram page, Main Film Fanatic. And that page, unfortunately, last year got hacked. And so the page had to go away. And I knew I have another page now, but I'm not focused so much on building that as a movie page. I kind of repurposed my focus and my love or enthusiasm on just this channel. I still do the Facebook page, and there are still updates, but not like I used to. It's pretty sporadic now. And so what I kind of transitioned to is just trying to do these videos for this channel, and I've made this the main focus, and I kind of repurposed everything to this format. And so, 2 years later or so, here we are. And so I really, really, really appreciate friends, close friends, people that I only know through the virtual world, all the great support. And I've met a lot of interesting, cool people. I've had amazing conversations. I've had some really wonderful guests on this channel, and it means the world to me. So I wanted to just do this quick video on, just a big shout out and appreciation of love for everyone who has supported this crazy thing that I do, Film Fanatic. And I'm very much looking forward to building even more, expanding more, and bringing talk on some, more talks and videos on really good quality movies. And also moving into some other areas which will probably happen as well. And also I wanted to give a big shout out again to those 3 people in my life that are so key, are totally well responsible for this craziness. And it's my mom and Sean Russell and Charles Hendricks. So thanks again from the bottom of my heart, and this means the world to me. And here's to 2025. Peace.